One of the most unbelievable things to me is the divide between Clone Wars fans and Rebels fans in the Star Wars community. Rebels was almost like a sequel to Clone Wars in some ways. We got to see the fate of Rex and Maul and some other characters from the Clone Wars. So why do people that love the Clone Wars seem to hate Rebels so much? And overall, is one of the series better than the other? But let's first really analyze why Clone Wars fans seem to hate Rebels so much. I think we can mostly chalk it up to Disney buying Star Wars and seeing people be like, oh, it's gonna go family friendly now, it's gonna be not as dark or cool as the Clone Wars, which is kind of what started this. I feel like the only reason people like the dark factor of Star Wars is because of Empire, which is a little unfair to me. But I think when people started seeing Season 1, or at least the previews of Season 1, that's when a lot of people started really hating Rebels. I mean, literally looking at that promotional material, we see this weird ass thin lightsabers with Aladdin with blue hair and an Inquisitor with a spinning lightsaber. So already a lot of Clone Wars fans didn't even watch the show, and a lot of them dropped out after Season 1. We all know that Season 1 was a little rocky compared to the other seasons. It did start to pick up after Season 2, and when Season 3 came, not a lot of people that really hate Rebels were around watching it, which is probably why people still seem to dislike it so much. And I think the big reason people hate it is just because Clone Wars got cancelled, and then in its place came this new show that people can't accept because they didn't get an end to Clone Wars. They were really upset about that, and then Rebels came along with its strange art style and its totally different era, which I think is a huge shame, because Rebels finishes a lot of stories that Clone Wars couldn't finish, like Darth Maul's story. In Clone Wars, they couldn't have finished Maul's story. We couldn't have gone to Tatooine, saw old Ben fight Darth Maul, and we couldn't see that epic, 3-second duel. We couldn't have seen that because of the time frame that Clone Wars was in. In the last battle, we saw all of the droids go against the Empire, which is something that I'm sure in the back of everyone's head, it's one of those things that just you wanted but you didn't know you wanted it. We saw some old faces like Ahsoka, Rex, and Hondo. And I do really wish that almost Season 1 was just a bit better, so those Clone Wars fans could have stuck around, because it would make the community for Star Wars so much stronger if the Clone Wars veterans, you could say, a lot more of them could have stayed and really appreciated some of the nods that were sent to Clone Wars. But onto the big question, which one is better? I personally think it really depends on what you want to see when you're watching these shows. If you want to see a big sprawling story where you follow and focus on one group of characters and see lots of character arcs and just see this thing come together and see lots of development in these characters, then Rebels is definitely for you, because you see the Ghost Crew evolve, and you also see the formation of the rebellion. So if you're the type of person that likes to see things grow from a seed into a tree, then Rebels is for you. But if you like to almost enter the universe and just kind of jump around a lot, one day you'd like to see some rookie clones, or then you'd like to see some Jedi in training getting their lightsabers, then you want to see some droids on a heist, then Clone Wars is for you, because instead of being character based and character driven, it's more story driven and just kind of almost universe driven. I think a lot of people would also argue that if you want to see more Jedi and more lightsaber duels, you could watch Clone Wars, but I think you'd get plenty from Rebels. But then again, depending on what you want to see from a lightsaber duel, if you want to see a more prequel type duel, then obviously you'll have to look to Clone Wars. I think you should watch both, no matter what. Right now, I'm more in the mood of Rebels because Rebels isn't finished yet. It's Season 4 hasn't yet begun at the time I'm recording this video, so I'm anticipating that, but I am kind of holding off a little bit before I'm going to rewatch Clone Wars. I'm going to wait till Rebels is over, then rewatch Clone Wars, then rewatch Rebels to get that full experience. I think by the end of Season 4, Rebels is going to be a very good show in hindsight and in retrospective, simply because it's going to have an end. Dave Filoni can finally end his Star Wars show. Clone Wars didn't have an end, it was open-ended, and that was really unfortunate. And I think it's going to be really cool just to see where the characters end up, and now we finally have the answer of how the rebellion formed. Clone Wars was fantastic, and I think Rebels is way too underrated. If you are a Clone Wars fan and you are reluctant to watch Rebels, I suggest that you just hop in. If you really want, skip Season 1. To be honest, it isn't that important except for introducing the characters, but you'll get the gist of it quite quickly just from watching Season 2 from the beginning. And yes, sure, Rebels isn't as dark as the Clone Wars, but I'm not sure how much that really matters, and who knows, it could take a dark turn in Season 4. But I am interested on what you guys think. In the comments below, leave if you like Clone Wars better or Rebels better. And, you know, just give your reasons for it as well. Just, I'm really interested in what you guys think. Leave a like down below, it shows that you're enjoying this content. Hit that subscribe button to be notified whenever I make a new video, and hit that little bell next to it so you'll get a notification as well as when I go live. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great day.